Hi guys, welcome back. I just wanted to say a couple of things quickly before I film this video. I'm going to be filming quite a few videos back to back because I've got the time at the moment, so I probably will be wearing the same thing in every video, so I'm not somebody who wears the same clothes for weeks on end. I just am filming them all now while I've got the time. And the second thing is that recently I looked at my YouTube channel. I hardly ever look at it because to me YouTube was just somewhere where I was going to put my crazy thoughts about books, and I wasn't really thinking that many people would watch them, but it shows me that I've got about 44 subscribers, which is awesome. I didn't even realise I had one subscriber, let alone 44, so thank you to all of you who've subscribed. That's really made my day actually, to know that there are people out there who actually care what I'm saying and don't mind me ranting on about books and forgetting what I'm saying halfway through video. So thank you very much, it means so much to me. And it said I had like something like 700 views, which is also amazing, so thank you, thank you, thank you. That's put a huge smile on my face this morning. So getting on with the video, today I'm going to be doing a book haul kind of video. It was requested when I talked on Twitter and Facebook about videos that you wanted to watch, and somebody suggested that I do my favourite childhood books. So I'm going to do a haul now of my favourite childhood books and kind of talk you through why they were my favourites and kind of what they mean to me. And it would be really interesting to know if you've got this, like if you've read any of these, if you've got any childhood books that you really loved, because it'd be great to know kind of what you read as a child. And I've kind of divided this into two categories. I've got kind of like the toddler kind of 5, 6, 7-year-old books, and I've got kind of more like 11, 12 books, and I've stopped at 13, so any books I read after 13 years old I've stopped, because I'm kind of classing like toddler to 13 as my childhood reads. So I've got some here, and as I said, I'm going to start off with the childhood ones. Now, probably the main one from my childhood that I remember the most is this one, and it is called Six Dinner Sid by somebody called Inga Moore. And I absolutely adored this book. My mum and dad were amazing when it came to books. They used to read me bedtime stories every single night before I went to bed, and my dad used to take me to the library every Saturday. So I grew up always loving books, and this book I remember so much of, and I remember being read this and then reading it to my parents, and it's about this really fat black cat who lives in 6 different houses and gets 6 different dinners every day, and it's a really funny story about how he finally gets found out. And the illustrations are really beautiful in this book as well. Let me try and find you. Yeah, they've got really beautiful illustrations. And yeah, I just adored this book, and it's been looked after really, really well actually, which I'm really glad about because I love books that are looked after well. So this is definitely one of my favourites, and I definitely remember being read this and reading it to my parents as well. So love this book, and I'll keep this book forever because it's so got so many emotional memories in it. Now the next book that I remember the most from when I was growing up was this one, and it's called Laura's Star by Klaus Baumgart, and the star on the front is shiny, and as you can guess, the reason why I love this book so much is because it's called Laura's Star, and my name is Laura, so that was a winner in my book. And I remember it so well because when we did a non-uniform day at school, we had like a book day at school when I was in year 6. Was it year 6? No, it must have been like year 3 at school. When I was in year 3 at school, we had a book day, and I went in dressed up as Laura from this book, and I wore my dressing gown to school. I wore stripy pyjamas, and I had a torch in my pocket, and I had a star in my pocket as well. And I just have really fond memories of this book, mainly because my name is Laura, but it's a really lovely story about how Laura finds this star that's fallen from the sky, but during the day it's disappeared and she thinks it's left her, but then she realises that stars only come out at night, and it's a really lovely story kind of about stars and wishes, and it's just really lovely. And as well, the illustrations are really nice, and every single page that the stars on, the star is shiny. So that was a really good thing that I liked about it when I was growing up, is that I could just stroke the stars and look at all the shininess. So definitely one of my favourite books in the world, still to this day as well. I love reading this. Then the next 2 books, they're not books that I remember as much, but they're definitely books that I loved reading when I was growing up, and as you can see from this one, this book definitely belonged to me. And this one is called Peace at Last by Jill Murphy, and I love this book because it's about this family of teddy bears who Daddy teddy bear can't get to sleep, so he tries to sleep in the garden, he tries to sleep in the car, he tries to sleep in the kitchen, but in every room and everywhere he tries to sleep there's noise. And it's a really funny little sweet book, and again, I mean, all the illustrations in these books are beautiful, but I just think it's such a nice kind of style of illustration. And it's strange because, like, children's books these days, like, they're so much more colourful, and they're more kind of more, not impressive as such, but they're kind of more about a spectacle rather than the actual kind of story itself. And I prefer books like this, like the old ones, where they're quite, like, not rubbish illustrations, but they're not so, like, in your face and brightly colourful, and you can, I don't know, it's just something that, like, nowadays about the books that are a bit kind of in your face. And that's like, just as everything evolves, doesn't it, you know. Children at the moment like reading books like that. I like reading books that were like this when I was growing up. But it just goes to show how old this is, because on the back it's got the price, and this book, when it was bought new, was £3.99. So you wouldn't get a book like this nowadays for £3.99. It'd probably be like £8.99 or something. And then the final book, which is probably my most favouriteest Percy the Park-Keeper story, is One Snowy Night. And my family loved Percy the Park-Keeper. We watched it on TV, we had all the books, and as you can see, this book is so bent and from being loved so much. And this is the favourite one of our family, One Snowy Night, and all the animals from the park go and like sleep the night in Percy's shed, and it's really lovely. And I mean, if you've never heard of Percy the Park-Keeper, then I don't know where you've been living for the past however many years, because it's just so beautiful, and Nick Butterworth is such a clever author and illustrator, and oh, it's just beautiful. And the illustrations as well are really simple but effective and really pretty. Yeah, and I just love this book so much. I have such good memories of this book as well. And again, as you can see, when it was first bought, it was only £4.50, so you wouldn't find a book nowadays for £4.50, so bargain, this one. Now I'm going to move on to kind of more like reads that I would have been like 8, 9, 10, I guess. Like my ability to understand what age people can read at is really bad, but I'm guessing that this was kind of like around 7 or 8 I was reading these, and they are Matilda and the Twits by Roald Dahl. Now obviously everybody loves Roald Dahl. If you don't love Roald Dahl, then you're not a real person. And Roald Dahl was my favourite author, or he is still one of my favourite authors, and these were two of my favourite books of his. The Twits mainly because it was so funny, and it was quite a short read, and I just thought that the characters were really funny, and the storyline was really funny, and I used to spend ages laughing and reading at this one. And then Matilda, mainly because Matilda loves books and I love books, so I formed an immediate bond with her as a character. And I just think it's a really lovely book about kind of believing in what you believe in, and like chasing that dream and not letting anybody stand in the way like Matilda did. She wanted to be a reader and she wanted to do well at school, and her parents were like, no, don't do that, don't do this, but she carried on, and then she ended up living life in a much nicer and safer environment. So I really, really love Roald Dahl, and yeah, these two are my favourite. I also love like George's Marvellous Medicine, and oh, what was the other one that was SEO Trot? That was a really good one. I just love all of Roald Dahl. All of his books are brilliant. Then I'm moving on to kind of like probably 11, 12, and I haven't actually kept any of these books because unfortunately when I got to like 16 I thought this isn't cool anymore, and I got rid of them. But I found one in a charity shop recently, one of the newer ones, which I thought was cool, and I picked it up. I haven't read it yet, but I just wanted to kind of see where she is now, and that is Jacqueline Wilson. I absolutely adored Jacqueline Wilson when I was growing up. She wrote some of the best books around. She wrote Tracy Beaker, Vicky Angel, The Lottie Project, The Suitcase Kid, all of those amazing books, and I remember reading them, and I was so excited when a new Jacqueline Wilson book came out that I would stand in the library until the person who'd returned it, and then the librarian put it back on the shelf. I'd wait until like she'd done that, and then I'd just take it and run with it and want to read it straight away. Yeah, Jacqueline Wilson, I think she's still a really popular author today among young girls. And this is one of her more recent ones. This was published in, let me have a look, this was 2008, so that's quite a while ago now, but still, she's still going, and I think she's released another one this year. But yeah, like she wrote The Worry Website, Vicky Angel, The Mum Minder, The Lottie Project, Illustrated Mum, Double Act, Glub Slime, The Diamond Girls, Cliffhanger, The Dare Game, The Cat Mummy. See, I remember all of these. I absolutely loved Jacqueline Wilson, so she is definitely one. And if you've got young children or young girls, or you like kind of children's reads, or you like reading children's books, then I definitely recommend Jacqueline Wilson, because she has got a really good kind of back catalogue of books that will appeal to any kind of taste. So yeah, definitely worth looking her up if you've never read any of her books before. And now I'm moving on to like 13-year-old reads. Although I'm not sure whether I'm lying when I say this, because these might not have been when I was 13, these might have actually been more like 15 or 16, but I'm going to show them anyway because they were the books that I thought of when I thought of doing this children's books video. Anyway, this one is called Broken Soup by Jenny Valentine. My favourite one of hers is called Finding Violet Park, but I don't know where my copy of that's gone, which is really sad because I love that book. But Jenny Valentine writes really, really clever books, and this is, I mean, look at the cover, isn't that just beautiful? It's like, it's supposed to look like somebody's like scribbled all over it and drawn all these odd bits on it, and it's like really textured as well, it's lovely. And this is about, the blurb says, "It wasn't mine, I didn't drop it, but the boy said I did. He stood there with this 'I know I'm right' look on his face. I was laughing about it on the outside, feeling like an idiot on the quiet. I had no idea something important had happened." So it's, like, doesn't really tell you much, but it's about somebody who picks up a photo, like a negative photo, and, like, I don't want to ruin the plot, but it's, yeah, really interesting, and two different people meet, and it's really, really lovely. And Jenny Valentine is such an amazing author. She's written a couple more books, I think, but I haven't actually read any of those. But yeah, this is definitely a book that I would recommend for young readers, or even nowadays, like, I would definitely reread this book again. I guess this is YA fiction, maybe, perhaps more child's fiction than young adult fiction, but I don't think anybody who reads YA fiction would not enjoy this, so definitely worth looking at, and definitely worth looking at all of her other books as well, because she's a brilliant author. And the final book, which I actually, now thinking about it, think I probably read more when I was like 15 or 16, is Before I Die by Jenny Downham, and I picked this one up in a charity shop recently for about 20p, I think. But I really, really love this book, and I borrowed it from the library quite a few times because I wanted to read it so many times. And it's about a girl who has cancer, and well, actually, I don't know if she's got cancer, but I know that she is she's dying, and she's only got a few months left, and she's made a list of all the things that she wants to do before she dies. And it's like her story about seeing whether she can fulfill all these things, and then meeting people, and it's a really lovely story, and it's quite sad, but yeah, definitely worth reading. And this is one I really remember reading, and like I said, taking it from the library more than once because I was so interested and so addicted to the story that I wanted to keep reading it, so definitely worth looking at as well. And this is a book that you can read nowadays as well. I think this is probably more YA, so you could definitely read it and enjoy it. So yes, Before I Die by Jenny Downham. So that is my kind of haul of my childhood books. As you can see, I kind of had quite a varied childhood with, you know, Roald Dahl, but then things like Jacqueline Wilson and Jenny Valentine. It was quite a nice mix of books. It wasn't all just kind of the same author. So I'd really be interested to see if any of you guys have read any of these books, if you have, or if you remember reading these books when you were a child, or let me know what books you used to read, because I'd really be interested in that, because I love little children's books and finding out what people read. And it'll be interesting because obviously people of my generation will have grown up with the same kind of books that I did, whereas people of kind of the next generation or the generation before would have grown up with slightly different books. So it'll be really interesting to know what you grew up with. So thank you for watching, guys, and I'll be back very soon with a book haul of all the recent books that I've got. So I'll see you then. Bye, guys.